So this is the World of Warcraft was not made for you. World of Warcraft hates casual players. Has there ever been a truer true that's ever been true? I agree, by the way, with this premise that WoW is really bad for casual players. I completely agree with this.
Let me ask you this. Would you consider yourself a casual or hardcore gamer? What if I told you that no matter what your answer is to that question, just by clicking on this video, you have now crossed the line into hardcore gaming?
True.
You've just engaged in a games community more than the majority of players would.
Very true.
Honestly, I've already made the jump. At the start of Shadowlands, I got invited to raid with my friends, and I had to start looking at guides and mechanic videos for the raid encounters. I had to spend a lot of time practicing my class and understanding.
In my opinion, I think anybody who actively consumes content, especially guide-type content, about a game is a hardcore player, even if they suck at the game. There's a lot of hardcore players that are dog shit.
The basics of DPS pumping. This video is no longer about me. I'm not even close to being a casual player anymore. This video is more of a discussion on how if I didn't make that jump, I would have little to no content to keep me playing. This is a video about a topic that I hope someday Blizzard will do something about. MMO players today aren't the same as they were in 2004. Most people play more than one game. Most people play more than one MMO, which means there is a large portion of their potential player base that they are completely alienating with the current design of their game. To put it simply,
I have never heard a truer, like, this is my favorite video I've ever seen, and I haven't even seen it. Like, I completely agree with everything that he's gonna say in this video. Like, this is, like, fucking absolutely so true.
There's a large barrier to entry to enjoying the best content in the game, and in this video I'd like to point out what I feel are the big...
What do you mean a barrier to entry? All you have to do is look up the fight on YouTube, and then also make sure you sim your gear with the third-party website, and then also join a raiding guild that raids at certain times of the week, and then after you do that, you have to download a program where you have to talk with them, and then after you do that, you have to join the right faction, because, see, you're playing Alliance. Oh, that's a mistake. Time to go Horde. All right, so now your Horde spent $25 on that one. Thanks, Blizzard. And then, okay, oh, you joined a raid? You don't have weak cores. You got to download weak cores. Okay, you downloaded weak cores. Great. Oh, but you don't have the right weak cores. You got to download the new weak cores. You download a weak core. Uh-oh, the weak core had you mail all your gold to a random player. It's a bug. Oh, that's too bad. Contact Blizzard support. They don't do anything about it. And then right after that, then you finally download the weak core, and then you're able to get into Discord. You've paid $25 to go into a new faction. Finally, guys, we're ready to game. And then you pull the boss. The boss is a one-shot mechanic. Bill fucking disconnects 5 seconds into the fight. The debuff goes on him. Bill dies. Raid blows up. Sorry, guys. Come back next Tuesday. We'll see you there at 7 p.m. sharp. Fuck, man. That's all you have to do. Yeah, that's oh, you didn't do your dailies. Oh, well, you can't go to the raid then because you don't have your upgraded legendary. Oh, you don't have your Azerite power? Oh, okay, never mind.
Biggest reasons that casual players are no longer enjoying World of Warcraft. Just to set a basis for our discussion, WoW has always been a grindy, time-intensive MMO. In that regard, there's nothing that I could tell you that you don't already know. Patch 9.2, which includes Zereth Mortis and the final raid of Shadowlands,
Zereth Mortis is okay.
There are things to do besides raiding or getting new powerful gear, but there isn't much thought put into them. The main focus is still to build your power and get cool-looking gear, just like it's always been, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Unfortunately, Blizzard is still keeping players from being able to do this by throwing in long, repetitive, time-intensive grinds. But don't get me wrong, I don't think Blizzard hates casual players solely because they have grinding mechanics. There are a couple of larger problems that are plaguing.
I think Blizzard hates casual players because they just literally can't stop fucking them in the ass. They literally can't stop. It would be physically impossible for Blizzard to stop fucking casual players in the ass. Like, they like it. Yeah, it's so bad.
Blizzard's game design that are keeping non-dedicated players away from World of Warcraft. First, let's define what a casual player is, because I think the definition has changed quite a bit over...
Somebody who plays less than 20 hours a week and doesn't really consume a whole lot of content outside of just the game, in my opinion.
If you do a straight Google search on it, you get a lot of results saying that a casual gamer is someone who plays a game non-competitively, or someone who plays a game but isn't necessarily permanent to it. Casual gamers don't usually immerse themselves any further into the game or its community than just face value. They don't look up guides, they don't join forum discussions, they don't watch videos on why a certain character acts the way they do. But for the sake of discussion, I think this is kind of a hard definition to quantify. For now, to quantify casual gaming, I'm going to take the number of hours that an average gamer plays a week. In 2021, that was at an all-time high of about 16 hours, mostly due to the pandemic. We'll say anything less is casual and anything more is a hardcore gamer.
That's about
and
where
that's being pretty generous considering that people are probably playing more than one game at a time. So 16 hours a week, or about 2 hours and 15 minutes a day, is what we have to work with. If you've played World of Warcraft before, which I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this video have, you probably know where I'm heading with this.
I have no
How
idea.
far into the game do you think a casual player can get in 2 hours? Look, I'll even give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt and leave out leveling a character, because at this point it's so fast-paced and has nothing to do with the relevant content. So
leveling a character doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with it. I don't really care about leveling a character. It's whatever.
Start at Shadowlands. How far into Shadowlands could someone get in 2 hours? Well, on their first character, they have to go to Stormwind and start the intro content. They have to go to Icecrown and listen to Bolvar say something about Sylvanas being rude. They go to the Maw and save Jaina, Thrall, Anduin, and then Bane. They walk about a mile to sneak through the Jailer's forces, only to get caught by the Jailer again. Their character finds a way out, gets teleported to Oribos to talk to some aliens, and listen to Bolvar bitch about Sylvanas again. I replayed the intro just to see how long it would take for me to get from the very beginning of the Shadowlands content to your first new zone, Bastion. It took me about 1 hour and 10 minutes to get through it all. And keep in mind, I have like 10 alts that are leveled into Shadowlands. I've done this intro.
That's why I'm so glad they have the $60 boost. I'm gonna be honest. I buy it for all my characters. I buy it for all my characters. And you know what? You know what the best part about this is? I actually don't think this is a huge problem. This is the entry-level new player experience. Is it a little bit slow? Yeah, it's a little bit slow, but that's like the story. It's like, whenever you think about it in context, this is the best, and it's only going to go downhill from here. Pay to win? Yeah, that's right. Pay to win. Boost for $60 is not good? Yeah, that's true. So here would be my perfect universe, okay? My perfect universe would be that as soon as I hit level 60 on a character, I can enter a Mage Tower type challenge for my alts, and if my alts can beat the Mage Tower type challenge, I instantly level them to 60 with no other effort involved. That would be it. That would be my best case scenario. And if I have to spend any time leveling a character, I'm pissed.
A lot, because before 9.1, I think, you couldn't skip it on
Terrible
alts.
idea.
If someone is doing this for the first time, how long would it take them? Someone who hasn't played World of Warcraft for 14 years like I have, I would argue that it would take their full 2-hour time limit for that day. I'm not trying to argue that the content should be shorter or not. That is pure opinion, because completing the intro for the first time is actually fairly important. It sets up the entire Shadowlands storyline, which is confusing as hell, even for veterans. If you enjoy the intro, that's perfectly fine. What I'm trying to bring to light here is that casual players have a lot of time investment waiting for them in order to play World of Warcraft. This is just the intro. There's a whole mess of content waiting for them, but that alone is not necessarily a bad thing. You could argue either way. Some may say, hey, new players have hours and hours of fresh new content. Others would say that new players are given a mountain of mediocre content that they are required to climb to reach the endgame, which is considered to be the best the game has to offer. In recent history, World of Warcraft...
I think that it's fair to expect a new player to level up through the story. Am I wrong about that? I think that it's fair to expect the new player to level up through the story. Because it's like at least once. Like that I think is it's a fair assumption to make. I think every game has this, and I think the games that don't have it, there's a lot of there's a lot of negatives to that, to not having it. This is like in Lost Ark, you have to do it at least once. Why? It gives you, so like the reason why is that it teaches you how to play your character. It teaches you like what different abilities do. It teaches you how to interface with bosses. You get used to casting your abilities rather than just immediately being put at max level and you're like queuing into a heroic. You have no idea what you're doing. There's also like a story that you should try to at least to some degree understand. And I think that it's better for the game to entice you into at least having a passive understanding of the story. I think that's better for a game. And so, yeah, that's why. Those are some of the reasons why.
Warcraft has been developed for two major groups of players. You can see this purely based on the focus of updates that go into the game every patch. The first group is hardcore or dedicated players. More specifically, players who do one of three things: raid, PvP, or usually a single side system, which I guess in this case is Torghast. When Shadowlands came out, it was pretty apparent that Blizzard had fallen into the same trap again. These three pillars are usually tailored for high-end, difficult, competitive play. The second customer group...
I want to agree with that. I want to just stop for a second. Somebody said, But what about Final Fantasy 14? What about? Here's why it's different. Is because the amount of time that you have to spend getting from doing all of A Realm Reborn, all of Heaven's Word, all of fucking Stormblood, I haven't done that one, and all of Shadowbringers is going to take a fucking, take however long it takes to do it in WoW, to get caught up to level 50, and then put a 0 behind it, and that's how long it would take in Final Fantasy. And also, you can't buy a story skip in Endwalker. You have to level up yourself. This is the same thing.
Then is the group that I like to refer to as the I don't know and I don't care group. This is the weird one on the other side of the spectrum as hardcore dedicated players. Blizzard seems to think
but these are the people right here down at the bottom. This is Blizzard's target audience, okay? Why did Blizzard not have PvP vendors? Because players couldn't find. How can we expect a player to find the PvP vendors? Where are they? What if players can't find them? They don't know and they don't care.
There are a lot of players like this that exist, but I tend to disagree. The I don't know and I don't care group is made up of players that are fine with playing for an hour, quick queuing into a legacy content dungeon that requires no attention to complete, engaging in a couple of pet battles, and maybe completing a quest or two depending on if...
These are the people on Twitter that have their fucking character. They always... I feel like the people that tweet more... The more you tweet about WoW, the less you actually play the game. Like, I feel like that's so true. Like, you look at these people, they're like, yeah, man, I love WoW so much. WoW is so great. Oh, WoW is so fun. It's amazing. And then, like, you look at their character profile, and they're, like, fucking item level 234. They did Terra Grew on normal mode once. And they have fucking half of their Korthia campaign done. And they're like, bro, I love WoW. Does anybody else love WoW? I love it. It's such a good game. It's so fun. I'm addicted. Oh my god.
They can find the start to the Shadowlands intro. They don't mind hopping onto the game for 30 minutes and then not playing again for a couple weeks. This group is treated as if they never want to even attempt to get to higher level content. But with the game being subscription based, I don't think Blizzard has as many players that do this as they think. Why pay monthly for content that you would never want to try? Listen, I respect anyone who plays the game. If you want to play World of Warcraft for 30 minutes after your kids have gone to bed and you're waiting for your spouse to get out of the shower, then by all means do it. You shouldn't have to feel pressured to enjoy the game a certain way. That does not mean that Blizzard should only focus on developing game features that cater to the time investment of the bottom or the top 10% of players.
That's the problem, is that they make the game, they develop the game around, the bottom and the top 10% of players. All right, you ready for him? Here it goes.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
And that's where the design of current World of Warcraft is. Either you are part of the top 20% of players that can complete enough content, get your gear, complete the storylines, and complete a raid on normal, or you are part of the bottom 10% that are fine with never attempting to do that. Where does that leave the other 70% of players?
In
Here
Final
we have
Fantasy.
70% of players playing on average 16 hours a week.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy, that's where it leaves them. That's exactly it. Yeah, those are the people that moved over to Final Fantasy. All the people that are like, It's like, oh, you've got all the people like, all right, I've got 17 mages, and this time, whenever the new expansion comes out, I'm going to level. So I've made a spreadsheet, and I'm going to level each mage each day. And so by the end of the month, I'm going to have all 17 mages leveled max level, and they're going to be ready and then farming their aspect power, and they're going to be all blue dragonflight because that gives a 0.6% damage increase. And so Blizzard is making that person so happy. And then also you've got the guy, oh, hey, you know, whatever happened to the BlizzCon? Why are they not doing BlizzCon anymore? The controversy. Oh, I remember that's whenever they had like 10 and 25 man raids? Yeah, I remember that. Uh-huh. So these are the two people. What controversy? These are the two. Free Hong Kong. What do you mean? Like Free Willy, or where's Hong? Isn't that China or something? Like, what does that have to do with WoW? Man, like, and that's the way they look, and like, so they got no fucking idea about this game, and like, they got no clue. That's the people they make it for.
To decide what to do with their game time. What does Blizzard have for them? A couple months ago, I made a video highlighting the complexity of MMOs, and I used WoW's endgame as an example. I tried to put together a simplified flowchart of what a fresh Shadowlands player had to do in order to get into a raid. So this is a flowchart of how difficult it was to get leveled, geared, and ready.
17 different add-ons that are connected to 5 different third-party sites that then feed you information into an algorithm that then parses out that information and does mathematical calculations into where it tells you how to actually mathematically maximize your artifact power gains on your third Moonkin alt, because your guild's trying to kill Sire to Nathrius Mythic, and you can't raid on your main character because it doesn't do enough DPS, so you're trying to power level your fucking alt, and you're trying to get a conduit, and you're trying to get a conduit energy, you're out of conduit energy, you gotta wait for tomorrow, and then you're trying to get also your legendary, you gotta go back into Torghast, and then you have to get to layer 8, but you don't have layer 8, so you have to buy a WoW token so you can buy a carry to get to layer 8, and then finally you get to layer 8, and you have to buy another WoW token to buy the white item on the auction house, and then fucking enchant the white item on the auction house with the WoW token gear, and then you get the fucking enchant for the legendary, and then oh my god, the legendary was the same piece that you got from the raid, so now you need to get a legendary, so you buy another WoW token for 200,000 gold for $20 again, and then you make a second legendary. Like, this is... That's the experience. 300,000 views. 300,000 views for that one. So yeah, that's the Shadowlands freestyle right there. That's what it was. It's actually perfect, yeah.
To attempt to raid in Castle Nathria on normal. Casual players are not going to engage with something like this. Think about someone who isn't already in the habit of looking up guides.
Do you know what you used to have to do in Wrath? So we get to level 80, and then I do like a dungeon, and then it gives me a badge, and I put the badge in the guy, and it gives me a helmet. And then I go, and there's this circle thing, and we go there, and I got more gear there. And then there's the tower. Oh my god, the tower. That's it. That was it. That's all you had to do. It was really simple. You get 80, you get the gear, you do the boss.
About Icy Veins or Wowhead. How would they even begin to understand this? And I was the one who put it in a flowchart. This is obviously not shown to you in game. In the game, you are basically thrown to the wind.
I bet they don't show you that. Yeah, they don't want you to see that.
Sure, you get told what conduits are, but how would you know which one is best for your class? Sure, you get told what legendaries are, but how would you know where to pick up the memory? It
would be fine if they didn't tell you which ones were good, if there wasn't like a massive fucking power difference between one or another. It's like, for example, whenever you're playing Lost Ark, you know that certain abilities are good because you hit the ability and it does 2 million damage, and you hit the other ability and it does 200,000 damage. You know what? I think that the 2 million one does more. I think this one's better. Right? But with this one, there's like all these different fucking mathematical equations, and you can't keep it in mind. Yeah, it's too much.
Even before all of this, how would they know what covenant to pick? They wouldn't.
Yep.
A casual player with no guide to tell them what to do and when
They just
will
pick
have
the
to
cool
learn
one.
through trial and error. And this is where Blizzard punishes them. Let's do a little visualization exercise. At the start of Shadowlands, Covenants, Conduits, and Legendaries were noticeably unbalanced. Let's say you spent the time to build your Covenant Renown, a weekly time-gated reputation system that unlocks necessary.
This was so fun, man. I remember every week I would log on, and then I would get like a new Covenant level, and it would give me a new title, and I'd get 1% stamina. Like, bro, like, it was lit. Oh my god. Wow.
Player power. That's already a hefty time sink, but let's say you did. You join a random dungeon group and
Those
are
were
hit
the
with the heavy
days.
realization that you are doing far less damage than your fellow DPSers. They tell you that
No, that's actually not true. You're wrong on this one. All right, this is a wrong. So you don't have a damage meter installed because you're a casual player. You get informed that you're doing less DPS than everybody else whenever everybody patiently waits before a boss, and then you're no longer in the group, and the next thing you see is a loading screen back to the main city, and then somebody whispers you that you suck.
you need to do more damage or you'll be kicked from the group. For the sake of discussion, we'll say that these groupmates of yours are nice enough to tell you why you aren't doing enough damage. They say you aren't completing your rotation correctly. They notice you aren't geared efficiently, and they notice your Covenant is the far less optimal option for your class. Now you are playing with the realization that not only are you choosing to play with the less optimal Covenant, but others that you are playing with are noticing it in your gameplay. How much pressure would you feel to go back to your Covenant, tell the badass undead warrior necrolords to fuck off, and go join the fairies just because—
Ooh, I'm gonna be a little fairy now because it makes me do more damage. That's the way it goes. And like, you know what I did? I just decided, you know, like, oh, Venthir's not good anymore? Okay, I'm just not gonna raid. Whatever. It is what it is. Hopefully it'll be good next time. Yeah, fuck it.
they give your class the best damage boost. And of course you start from 0 renown, so there starts the same Covenant grind all over again. If you had only 16 hours a week to play video games, would you want to spend it like this? A casual player is not going to understand on his own why everyone is doing more damage than him. They most likely won't even have a damage meter add-on to tell them how much damage they are doing. Now on top of learning the game's combat and stat mechanics and potentially downloading add-ons and following a class guide, Blizzard wants them to understand conduits, soulbinds, and legendaries too. And if you happen to choose the wrong one, you'll start to notice it as soon as you get into another dungeon group and you are falling behind yet again. But I want to say it again, it's not only the complexity of the systems that drive casual players away. Some people will be okay to try and learn it on their own time. But if they aren't driven away by the complexity, then they may be driven away by the fact that they are punished for making the wrong decision.
That's what it is. I think that is what the real cock is more than anything else. The fact that if you make a bad call in the game, that you just, now you have to go back and forth. Like, I think that Blizzard looks at it from the perspective of, well, we can't have people changing conduits all the time. We don't want to have people changing conduits and changing their covenants. It's going to be chaos. They're going to have to go back every boss and change their conduits and covenants. And they're like constantly worried about this. They're constantly stressed out about this. Blizzard's so worried about this. It's like, oh my God, this min-maxer that spends 3 hours a day looking at parses on Warcraft logs is going to have to get summoned back to the raid. Holy shit. And then, so this is the big problem that the game has. And suddenly, now every single other person in the entire game has to pay the price for it. It's the same thing with the AoE cap. I'm sorry, but I'm going to just call it how I fucking see it. And I think that the only reason that they added the AoE cap is because of the MDI. There is no other value that the AoE cap adds to the game. It made the game worse. GCD2, I disagree with that. I think the GCD changes were to some degree necessary. However, I think that they went overboard. I think it's something should have been on GCD. Like Legion, like the Legion did have a problem with like people stacking 10 different abilities and then doing max damage because it was bad to balance. So overall, like server calculations, yeah, sure. But it just was too much, man. Too much of the game. What's MDI? Yeah, exactly.
Each wrong decision they make will force them to spend more time fixing their error, time they may not have or want to spend on the game. Leveling takes time, gearing takes time, grinding anima and renown takes time. Everything in the game takes a very long time. Time is a valuable resource, and that time needs to be respected, or players will go to another game that they feel respects their time. That's not just for casual players, that's for everyone, but casual players have a much lower tolerance for what they feel is time wasting. 16 hours a week is not just to complete the content, but also to
casual players not going to want to have to fuck around doing some bullshit like this over and over, a punish quest, right? And people that didn't know, like, actually, like, no meme, Mythic Dungeon Invitational is what the MDI is. It's basically like the tournament to see who can run the dungeons as fast as possible. So, like, what my assumption was is that they... I think that they develop a lot of the game. This is, like, my own opinion, is that I think Blizzard develops the game around these competition systems. Right? Like, they developed the game around that. Mega boring content? It wasn't. It actually wasn't. Back in Legion, MDI used to be so fun to watch. Like, it was so fucking fun to watch. And then as it just got more, like, formulaic, it became less fun to watch. Do you want to know how to make the MDI more fun? Let's see. Add in seagulls from Eye of Ashara. Randomly. Put them in the areas. And then also spec bands. Yeah, spec bands. Yeah, exactly. Make the content. The thing is that this is what the problem is with MDI. Is that MDI is fair. Well, that's fucking boring. Who the fuck wants to watch that? Oh, it's a fair competition to see who can clear a plus 20 dungeon faster? Oh my god. Like, this is better ASMR than on Twitch. Like, oh my god. Like, it's not, like, fairness, like, oh my god. Like, let's make it fun.
Keep up with the player base who is willing to spend much more time getting raid or PvP ready. And time, grindy complex systems, and social pressures aren't the only thing that are keeping casual players away. There's also a major information and skill gap between the hardcore players and the casual players. Something brought about by the necessity of add-ons and online class guides in order to play the game at a certain skill level. You can argue that add-ons aren't necessarily the fault of Blizzard, though I would have to somewhat disagree.
They absolutely, you need the add-ons. Nobody would compete in an RNG tournament? Oh, really? Then why do they compete in BR tournaments? Here, let me explain to you why people would compete in tournaments, okay? Yeah, it's dumb. BR isn't RNG. Or card games, or Hearthstone, or whatever, yes. The thing is, BR is not taken seriously. Yeah, neither should WoW. Exactly. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. Yes, exactly. And it's that the people will compete in tournaments if the tournaments have prizes and if the tournaments get good viewers. It's that simple. So get good prizes, get good viewers, and if there's a tournament to who can duct tape the most rice onto their head, people are going to compete in it. It doesn't matter if it's fair. Some people have bigger heads than others. But people will still compete in it because a lot of people are going to watch. Like, go watch these, like, have you guys ever seen, like, one of these, like, Japanese fucking game shows where they're running around and they're playing Fall Guys in real life? You think that's fucking fair? There's people throwing fish at them and stuff? Like, yeah, it's duct tape and rice. No, that's insane. Yes, and people love it. It's not fair. It's like they know it being fair. It's about being fun.
I don't think add-ons are the problem. Add-ons are created to fulfill a need that the game does not. A big reason that add-ons became a necessity is because the game is designed in a way that requires an add-on for players to succeed. Raiding and Mythic Plus dungeons have been...
I think that this is not entirely true, because I think that Blizzard creates something that is challenging, and then an add-on takes it from being challenging and makes it completely irrelevant. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know how they have, like, these, like, add-ons that solve puzzles in WoW and stuff like that? So I actually don't think that the game, like, basically the game was, like, challenging, and then they made add-ons that made it easy, so then they made the game harder, so then whenever the add-ons made it easy, then the add-ons just made it back to normal.
and some of the most fulfilling experiences that I've personally had in World of Warcraft. They challenge me to learn my class, learn how to use consumables, how to coordinate with my group, and give an awesome sense of achievement when you complete them. But before I was able to enjoy either of these, I went through a huge shift in how I play World of Warcraft. The game was no longer about exploring and having this sense of wonder and amazement at the locations or encounters of the game. I didn't see WoW as an RPG anymore. Now it was all numbers. In order to get to the level of play that was required to succeed in raiding, I had to do a list of things. Castle Nathria, the first raid in Shadowlands, came out 3 weeks after the expansion launched. In order to raid with my guild, I first had to get to level cap in about 5 days. This was necessary so that I could do endgame dungeons and start grinding renown. I had to look up a class guide so that I could pick out the best talents, the best covenant, and find the best gear. I had to look up a legendary guide to help me identify the best legendary for fire mages and which dungeon or winged Torghast I had to grind in order to attain. I had to look up a guide to tell me what my weekly checklist should be in order to make gold, stockpile anima, get soul ash, and farm consumables for myself and my guild. I had to look up guides to the Castle Nathria boss mechanics and make sure I was aware of what my role would be to counter them. I had to look up guides on my ability rotation as a fire mage and how to maximize DPS as a caster while constantly on the move in the raid. I had to download a list of add-ons that gave me a number of advantages that are necessary to perform at a raiding level. Deadly boss mods that gives me alerts when specific mechanics.
It's like imagine doing all of this and then getting kicked out of the getting kicked out of the guild because they find out you're a girl. Like you spend all this time. You spend all this time downloading all these add-ons and like everything, and you put in all this effort, and they find out you're a girl and they kick you out. Oh my god. Where did that come from? Oh, there's a lot of guilds that do that.
Happening in a boss fight. Weak Auras, which is a tool that allows you to download class-specific HUDs that show you which spells you need to cast and when. Raider.io, which allows you to keep track of your rating and Mythic Plus dungeon Final progress. Fantasy. Players use this to determine your worth in game. Bartender 4, which isn't completely necessary, but it allows you to have complete control over all of your actions.
Happens in Classic? No, what happened in Classic's even better. There's this guy, he's on my server. They found out he was black, and they kicked him out of the guild. So then he gets re-invited back into the guild, and they ask him if he's still black. Turns out he was. Got kicked out again. That's the way it goes. Yep, no fucking way. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Rain. It was not rain. It was not rain.
Bars, including the location and size, so that I could have a cleaner screen during the boss fight. Plater, which is a nameplate manager that I could use to easily distinguish ads from bosses, and customize alerts for health percentages on each enemy. And Details, a DPS meter that would allow me to make sure I was pumping DPS. If not, I needed to practice my class more and pump more damage. And there are more.
I love how people say, like, there's people in chat, that never happened, not a real story. Okay, so here's the video, right? Here's the link, and here's the screenshots right here. I was randomly invited to join this guild in Fairlina called Pirates. I was immediately kicked when I asked them to kick out a racist person, posted I hated black people in chat. A week later, I get another invite to the guild. I was confused, but I still joined just to see that this was about. Immediately get called okay, I'm not going to say that. It's a racial slur. And guild kicked. Why does Blizzard allow this? So these are the screenshots of the messages here, and this is where it happened. Right, literally right there. So this is the screenshot. This is where it happened. Okay, now I'm just making sure we see this. Yep, still black. And then they kicked them out again, just like what I said. Now, I know we're just gonna extend this a little bit more. So, that never happened. Well, stop lying. I want a sorry. I want a sorry in chat right now. I want a sorry. Go ahead. Yep, I want you to say sorry. Sorry for doubting you, Asmongold. To doubt your integrity of being a news source. To be accurate in all cases, and to never lie. I want that in chat, or you're banned. I'm not gonna actually ban you, but you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry for doubting. That's not you. That wasn't you. Well, let's see here. Is there any messages? You were right. I'm sorry, Daddy. It's fine. Everybody makes mistakes. Except me, apparently. Let's watch the video again. That's very true.
More add-ons that are needed if you are a healer or a tank. All of this just to join my guild in our attempt to complete the entry-level difficulty for Castle Nathria.
Yeah, it's insane. And by the way, like, I just want people to know that that shit's real. Like, this isn't like some kind of like weird SJW. Like, oh wow, they said that like I told them that my gender was a deer and they kicked me out because I did low damage. I can't believe that they are racist. Like, that's not what's happening. Like, it's actual racist. Like, real racist. Like, not like the meme. Not, oh, I told the Dave Chappelle joke, but the guy's white, so people think he's an asshole. No. Actual fucking racist. It's a lot different. It's important to keep that in mind and keep what the difference of the two things are.
This preparation was a commitment, and you know what? Even after doing all of this, I was still third from the bottom on the DPS meter. My guildies were much more dedicated and skilled than I was. Now if you think, hey, I don't need all of this stuff, I'll just go into a raid blind and see how it goes, I would say, you poor, naive little boy. If it were that easy, everyone would do it, but it's not.
Yep.
Unfortunately, because the raiding scene has become so competitive due to the increasing amount of preparation and difficulty of boss mechanics, if you don't have all of these things that I just listed, you are basically gated from the content. Guilds will not take you because they don't want to waste their time every week on someone who isn't putting in the same amount of effort as they are.
Which is completely fair, by the way. It is completely 100% accurate. What's wrong with wanting to be amongst your own kind? It is not. There's nothing wrong with the guilds that feel that way. Unless you're talking about the racist thing of being amongst your own kind, and then shut the fuck up, right? Like, you've got more in common with this some black dude that's playing WoW than some fucking super rich person like Donald Trump. You've got way more in common with him, and don't let any fucking idiot tell you differently. Keep that in mind. And so anyway, that's racist. Yeah, it's stupid as fuck, man. People don't even understand that. No, yep, you do. You think you got something in common with some billionaire, bro? Like, I'm sure you and the billionaires are just the same, man. Yep, I bet you just the same. Just read the raid journal. Nah, that's not. The thing is, like, it's not the guild's fault. It's not the guild's fault at all, because the guild is. I do the same thing. If somebody's not ready for the. If somebody's not ready for the raid, then fuck them. Like, I don't want to deal with them. But at the same time, like, man, if like I don't want to sit all the time, and I wish it wasn't a system.
Groups will take you, but as soon as you start messing up mechanics, they will kick you. You are basically relegated to LFR only, which is sometimes more difficult than just completing the content on higher difficulties. LFR is filled with new or less dedicated players who are just trying to experience the content.
It's filled with AFKers looking for free loot. That's what it is. Most people that are in LFR, if you look at the damage breakdown of their abilities, they're hitting 3 abilities. They're hitting 3 abilities, and they're watching Netflix. They're just looking for free loot.
Nothing wrong with that, but just keep in mind that if the mechanics require 25 people to work together to take down a boss and a handful of people don't perform, the entire raid wipes. That is worse in LFR because there is little to no communication from anyone, but I'm getting off topic. The point I'm trying to make here is that casual players have to quite literally become dedicated players simply to attempt any of the raiding content. It creates a gatekeeping community that relies on add-ons to make their weekly raid clear attempts more effective and efficient. If you don't buy into this culture of DPS meters and boss alerts, then you aren't allowed to enjoy it. Think about it. What group of 25 people would want to spend every week waiting for you to get better while they are paying $15 a month to play the game a certain way? More often than not, you'll be kicked just to respect the fact that other people in the guild want their time respected, and I don't blame them. Unfortunately, it's not your fault. It's Blizzard's. They've created a game where difficulty depends on raid mechanics that force you to rely on other people to complete the content. They created a time-consuming maze of player power systems that force players to adopt the most efficient way to play rather than the most fun way to play. They've created a community that focuses on numbers rather than playing the game, because in order to play the game, they are required to focus on numbers. Add-ons like DPS meters, boss alerts, weak auras, Raider.io scores are all a byproduct of time-intensive intensive, high difficulty content in an expensive game that incentivizes players to play at peak performance or fail to progress. Meta guides.
Well, I think also like another big factor is that whenever a new patch comes out, the raid is like all of the content in the patch. Zereth Mortis is pretty good. It is, like, all things considered. I've talked to my friends about it. Like they like it. I think it's okay, but imagine Korthia. Imagine you don't raid and patch 9.1 comes out. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, are you, yeah, it's so bad. There's like no content.
For classes, farming, boss mechanics, and leveling or gearing are a byproduct of creating a game that keeps all its good content behind walls of tedious, grindy, repetitive tasks. And here, Blizzard expects a casual player with 16 hours a week at most, minimal engagement in the WoW community, no add-ons. They expect that poor casual player to figure this all out? Well, no. Blizzard either believes that, or they just don't care. It's kind of funny because...
No, they don't. It's neither. They're too incompetent to understand the problem in the first place. See, like... You don't see it. It's not that. See, they're listening to people in guilds that play the game professionally and PvPers that have played the game professionally for 10 years, and they're taking the advice from them. Here, Blizzard, let me give you a little bit of advice. You know, the last thing that we need is another arena. Like, we don't need another fucking arena. Stop. You know what we need is another battleground. Where are the battlegrounds? Where are the other PvP modes? Where are the war mode improvements? Where's the other? We haven't had a 40-man battleground since Ashran, and Ashran sucks. Where is this content? I don't give a fuck. Oh, wow, there's 3 pillars instead of 4. We already have that to Tolvir anyway. Now we're getting it again with Maldraxxus. Who cares? It's just, there's no casual content that's good. Oh, do you think the WoW Council is helping? I will say, everything that has come out of Blizzard since the scandal has been relatively good. I think so. I think that most of the things that has come out of it, like most of the changes that has come out, has been relatively good. It has been a substantial improvement. And I think we'll see if that continues to be the case in the next expansion. I do. I think that in many regards it has been an improvement. We're going to see in 2 days.
I haven't really been a casual player for about 5 years now, but I still have this hope that I can go back in time and enjoy the game as much as I used to. I would love to re-experience that naive sense of wonder and excitement that I used to get while exploring the world and casually running dungeons with my friends, but I honestly don't think that's possible. It would be hard for me and the majority of WoW's current player base to take off the meta blinders that are keeping us pushing our skill levels higher and higher. What would we do? Intentionally...
Well, you can't go back and unlearn. It's like whenever I beat Elden Ring, I was unhappy and sad because I knew that I could never beat it for the first time again. I knew that I can never relive this. It's like, fuck, man, now it's over. I've got to wait 3 more years, you know?
Stuck at the game. So when I say that I would like for Blizzard to do something for the casual player base, I don't really ask because it would directly benefit me. I think it benefits the game's health as a whole, and it would revitalize the world that all of us love so much. True. Wouldn't it be great if we were able to boost the population of some of these dead servers again? Wouldn't it be great if we could have players stay for more than 3 months after the expansion drops? Yeah. I think Blizzard needs to focus on bringing back casual content. Add more pillars to the end.
Casual content has to be the focus of the game. Like, we want more mounts. I want more things like the Torghast solo Jailer's Gauntlet. We need more things like gold challenge modes for the little bit more hardcore players. We want more types of fun content. Stop making content for people that derive their ego from your game.
Than just raiding Mythic Plus and PvP. Reduce or remove some of the repetitive, grindy, time-gated mechanics that force players to play efficiently rather than having any amount of fun. Try to break down some of these barriers to entry that new and casual players have to face anytime that they try to enjoy the best parts of the game. If they can't change some of these things to make add-ons less necessary, maybe they could incorporate some of the add-on functionality into the game, like they've done with eye levels and Mythic Plus scores. That would give everyone an equal playing field when it comes to information and functionality. But
you know they did that. They disabled combat add-ons in Wrath of the Lich King. there was an add-on called AVR, and it just told you everything that you needed to know, because it was like almost like a data hack into the game. It was so fucking insane. And everybody played with it on because it was just, projected textures. Yeah.
Act like I know
Let's
everything.
do it again.
What I do know is that I still love this game, and I really hope that the WoW team tries to diversify content rather than developing a game on a playbook made 15 years ago. But most importantly, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more content. I hope you enjoy your adventures in Zereth Mortis, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next.
Didn't Huge in Japan get caught using that again and miss? Well, I'm not sure. I think this was a really, really good video, and I have to tell you guys, this guy only has 500 subscribers. We've got over 60,000 people watching this. I think you should have at least a few thousand subscribers. This is a really well put together video. I think that it was well edited, it was clean, it was good content, and also pretty much everything he said I agreed with. So I look forward to seeing more of his content in the future, and I think it was actually just great. It was really well put together. I totally agree. Zereth Mortis or Mechagon? I haven't done enough of Zereth Mortis to make that decision, but I would say Mechagon. I think Zereth Mortis has way more depth, and there's way more to it than Mechagon, but Mechagon was more fun. Mechagon was a really great theme park, or sorry, Zereth Mortis is a really great theme park. Mechagon was a really great sandbox. Like, is that a good way to say it? I think that would be fair. Did you see a new Ackman? I did. I watched it. And I'll give you guys a second. His subs tripled. Well, let me go back. I'm going to make sure that I, subscribe to this guy. You know, give the video a watch. I think that it was pretty good, man. It really was. And what does that mean? That means that Zereth Mortis, like Mechagon, I think the coolest thing about it is the amount of content that you could just do however you wanted to do. And the coolest thing about Zereth Mortis, I think, is the fact that there's a large zone that has a lot of different things you can, like, do randomly. Right? I think that's it. But I haven't finished all of the Zereth Mortis stuff, so, like, I don't know enough about it to really have an opinion. You know, there's, like, way more quests and everything like that in Zereth Mortis. Let me refresh it right now. 1.8K. Holy shit. Good job, boys. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Yeah, all right. There we go. Holy fucking shit. And has good PoE videos too. Good for him. Casual players want casual mode. Blizzard implements LFR. Casual players complain that people don't take LFR seriously. What? So casual players want the success of hardcore raiding guilds, but don't want to put in the effort. So this is one thing that a lot of like WoW defenders do. They do this all the time, where they introduce this like weird, but we gave them what they wanted, and then they didn't want what we gave them. Well, yeah, because it's bad. Like, it's because it's fucking bad. And so, yes, obviously, you give casual players something that's mediocre, and then they're not going to be happy about it. Of course, players want the satisfaction of hardcore raiding, but players used to get that without having to hardcore raid. That's the difference. Can we just get rid of LFR then? In my opinion, I think LFR should not drop any gear. And it should be a purely story-based experience, and they should fill up the empty slots with bots. That's what I think.